I live in the countryside, away from the city and all the new technology. Ever since I was young, walking around these hills and watching the calm life of the people here, I started dreaming. The vast open skies above these hills always seemed to call out to me, sparking my imagination. I dreamt of becoming an astronaut. Little did I know, 20 years later, I would be the captain of a
spaceship, soaring among the stars I once gazed at. Captain to the command, I've arrived.
We've detected unusual signals near Saturn. Investigate the area.
Understood. Scanning now. I see nothing on radar. Okay. Probing space objects for data. Meteor scan clear too. Heading back to the space station. What? Missile lock detected. Engaging warp drive. Now or never. Come on!
My journey among the stars ends as I open my eyes, a creation of my imagination.
In the first scene, there are lots of things. SVGs, bitmaps, actors, props, and Cartoon Animator 5 makes it all work flawlessly. But let's focus on some specific parts. First, I used some new features from the free 5.2 update. One of these is Motion Pilot, which I used to animate grass, flowers, a windmill, a rooster, and a tractor. Let's zoom in on the flower animation. I started by making a simple flower shape in a vector editor and then brought it into Cartoon Animator as a prop. Then, in Composer mode, I added bones to it and connected them to spring bone groups. This way, the flower moves like it's in the wind. For better view, I will change color of my flower to blue. All I need to do is set some parameters in Motion Pilot and start animating with my mouse. Thanks to the flock settings, I'm able to animate all the flowers simultaneously. Additionally, I can add variety to the effect by introducing a delay parameter, which helps in randomizing their movements. I did the same thing for the moving grass. With Motion Pilot, you can make even more complex animations. Look at the tractor, for example. I made it in the SVG editor, and it's important to put moving parts, like wheels, on separate layers, not in groups. This way, when you bring the prop into Cartoon Animator 5, you can animate each part on its own in the prop key editor. Now, look at how I can make the tractor wheels turn and create motion by turning them a bit more every 10 frames. Okay, let's dive straight into Motion Pilot. I'll only use the X-axis to move the prop with my mouse. Next, I'll add some movement to the tractor in the wave section of Motion Pilot, creating the look of a running engine. Then, I'll add my saved animation in the motion section and see how it works. you can animate two motions at the same time. Pretty cool. Next, I used path motion for the first time. In this part, we have an actor and two paper airplanes. One paper plane is attached to the character and the other is on a path. When one is hidden, the other appears to make the motion look smooth. Let's try to make that part again and create path animation from scratch. You don't need to worry about making mistakes when creating a path. You always have the option to adjust and correct it later on. You can make keyframes that relate to where the paper plane is on the path and change its position. This approach gives you more control over the animation. You can add a transition curve to each keyframe, allowing you to fine-tune the animation to your preference. For example, you can make the paper plane get bigger while it moves along the path. In this scene, I want to show how you can attach two different things to the same path and make a nice transition. Here, we change a paper plane into a spaceship. We just hide one object and show the other at the same time. I also use the offset feature to put the spaceship in a different spot at the end of the path. I also used Motion Pilot to animate a ship flying past Saturn. This time, I changed the Z position setting, which let me make the spaceship move from behind the planet to in front of it. I did the same thing for an enemy ship, but without changing the Z position. The scene where we see a target lock inside an enemy ship was made using a simple bone actor of a dark character with two bones. And a crosshair that I animated using Motion Pilot and the wave function. Then, I connected the crosshair to the spaceship at the right time to make it follow the ship. The last scene I want to show you is the only one I sent to After Effects. All the other scenes were made just in Cartoon Animator 5. Here I used simple position and rotation movements and the FFD function to change the shape of the spaceship. After sending it to After Effects, I added a warp effect and other layers like star trails and rocket smoke. So this is it. I hope you learned something new today. Goodbye. Hello, today I'd love to share with you how I made my animation Paper Dreams.